front men, and Sterling checks in trouble, and it's Jefferson puts it away.
Living reflections from a dream.
Yeah, right guys, and welcome back to the Frangerine Dream with me, Jefferson Farfran. How's it going? The season is over, and there are several reasons why the season is over. You might be thinking, oh, how come you've not done the last couple of matches of the season? They didn't matter. They did not matter whatsoever, and this season has been my Everest. Just getting through this season has been ridiculous. You can see we picked up some good form towards the end of the season, but again, all that did was make sure we weren't in a relegation fight, so didn't really matter. In the end, we finished 15th, 14 points away from the relegation spots, 17 points away from the playoff spots, so just about as in the middle as you can be. So we'll have a quick catch up. These two losses here were the last time I saw you, against Norwich and Cardiff. We only lost 2 more matches in the last however many matches this is, which is pretty good. And we lost to Bristol City and Barnsley. That was a bit of an anomaly for this run-in, that Barnsley match. 4-1 defeat against a side with 10 men as well, so that's always a confidence booster. We drew 6 matches against pretty good teams: Villa, Hull, Preston, Reading, Middlesbrough and Birmingham, and we won the rest. We won 6. Yeah. So, very good running. We did, however, get a couple of very bad injuries, which I will show you. So, Dempsey's isn't that serious. Cal Dempsey is out for a hernia. He will be back by the start of pre-season. Billy Clark picked up an injury and he will be out for 3 to 6 weeks, so he will still be out for pre-season, but when did he get that? Yeah, he actually picked that injury up in March, so he's already been out for 2 months and he's expected to be out for at least 3 more weeks, so pretty bad one there. Colin Kelly, a promising young striker, picked up a damaged Achilles tendon, which is just that's just devastating. Again, injured since March. He's been out for 2 months. He's expected to be out for another 4 to 5 months. So he may be back for the new season, but I really doubt it. We'll probably see him back sort of Q2, would you say, of next season? Probably. By the time he's back to full fitness. And similarly, Kieran Freeman, the 28-year-old versatile fullback, is out for 5 to 6 months with a serious viral infection. I'm not sure I've ever seen as serious a viral infection in Footy Manager. He's been out for 6 weeks and he could be out for another 6 months. So yeah, he could even be out up until Christmas. We might not get match fit until Christmas time. So bit gutting, especially when you consider the fact that we still have no money. We still have minus 20 grand per week in the wage budget because the board bloody pulled the rug out from under us. We're still nearly £6 million in debt now, but we should get a decent bit of money for our finish in the Championship. And we've still got no transfer funds, so we really need these players to get back to fitness because they're going to be all we've got, these players and the players who are coming back from loan. I'll tell you what, let's have a look at our best 11. We've not done this before. We've got an end of season best 11. Bobdrick is in goal. Bobdrick, what is he doing now? He's a director of football. Not a great one. Bobdrick actually retired when he left us. Oh mate, now I feel bad. I didn't realise. But yeah, fair enough. Bobdrick has been our best keeper since we started this game apparently. Tiandali is also retired. He is a scout and a pretty bad one by the looks of it. Robertson and Aldred are the 2 centre-backs still with the club, although Robertson will probably be leaving this summer on a free. I've not fully decided yet, but I think he will be. Josh Tyman is at the left-back spot. He's not really got much game time at Hull this season, which is quite annoying, because the replacement that we bought in did okay, but it didn't do great. So it's annoying that Hull wouldn't let Tyman go on loan and then didn't even play him. Kane and Potts, that's not really surprising, in the 2 centre mid roles. And then across the attacking midfield, Owen the Impact Jones, Billy Clark and Sammy Amiobi behind Danny Philliskirk. So, I mean, we're 4 seasons in now and the majority of this team If you don't count the 2 fullbacks and the goalkeeper, they're still with us. So, not bad. Let's have some awards then. So, Ash Kigboo. I swear for like the 3rd straight year. Can it be that? At least 2nd straight year. Ash Kigboo has picked up the Fans Player of the Season with 37% of the votes. Danny Wilson is 2nd, and Cal Dempsey is 3rd, which I don't really agree with. He's definitely not had his best season, but he's, on reflection, over the course of that entire season, he's done okay. Goal of the season was this one from Jack Thomas. Lockie laid it off to Thomas, and look at that, just dipped it over the keeper into the far side of the net. Good job, Jack. Signing of the season was Custard, who, I'll tell you, picked up a 3rd red card during the run-in. So, yeah, he's got off to a fine start. 12 appearances, 4 yellows, 3 reds. So I look forward to playing with 10 men far more often next season. And Young Player of the Season is Ash Kigboo, who just again, it doesn't matter what league he's playing in. Ash Kigboo, he will be solid. He will be very solid because he's a very good young player. And I'm tempted to say my best signing since I've been here. Say we picked him up on a free, and he's had 2 very, very good seasons for us. And I reckon he could still take a step up as well. He can step up to the Premier League. Oh, I've not even been through this season's Team of the Year. We've got Woodman in goal, Freeman, Kigboo, Wilson and Higham, who, yeah, had a decent second half of the season, played himself into contention. Kane and Potts in the middle, Lockie, Freeman and Dempsey across attacking midfield behind Danny Philliskirk. Very good. Danny Philliskirk, who was the joint top goal scorer along with Owen the Impact Jones with 8 goals each, which is not enough, but I don't think we'll be able to afford a new striker, so it's going to have to be enough. Highest average rating was Ash Kigboo with 7.13. Most assists was Jimmy Lockie with 11. We will see if we can get him back on loan for next season, because he has done a very good job. Best pass completion was Danny Philliskirk. Most player of the match was Danny Wilson. Most yellow cards was Brad Potts. And most red cards was Custard, despite only playing 12 games. Good job, Custard. You just can't be angry at that face, though, can you? He can't. He's got no malice in him. He's just he's an oaf, I think. I think he's a clumsy oaf. He's just stumbling around the pitch, just knocking people over. He probably helps them up as well. Probably helps them up in everything. Apologises, shakes their hand, and starts heading for the tunnel. Bloody hell, Custard. Right, let me go see what I can do with what's sure to be an extremely frustrating summer. I'll see you in a minute. Hello again, guys. We are ready for the first game of the season against Nottingham Forest away. And let's see what awesome action we have done. Fuck all. Jonathan Walters has retired. Clark Robertson has left on a free transfer along with some youth players, and we have let some youth players go on loan. Although we've not let as many youth players go on loan as we did last season. There were far many last season, and the reason for that is our summer signings are the ones that we haven't let go, because that's just all we can do. I have brought in a couple of young strikers. We have Taylor Jenkinson, who on first glance you look at him and you think he's not very good at all, but I'll tell you why you're wrong. He is 18 years old. If we just change this to look at advanced forward, where I'm probably going to play him, pretty much everything he needs for advanced forward is just a little bit away from being okay. Heading and anticipation could do with a boost. Otherwise, he's pretty much there. He only needs a couple more points in all these attributes and he will be okay. He's also been released by Manchester United, so I'm hoping he will be like a Paul Pogba. He will be a Michael Keane. He will be a Danny Drinkwater. You know, he's been let go from Man U because he didn't make the grade, and he's dropping down a bit so that he can push forward, so that he can blossom into this player that we know he can be with a bit of first team football. Saying that, he won't actually get first team football because he's not good enough yet, but hopefully someday he will. Taylor Jenkinson, everyone. And the second one is Barry Smith. a surprised looking individual from, I believe, not Wraith Rovers, Ross County. Who signed him from Ross County, again on a free transfer, and he looks a little bit more promising. Attribute wise, he looks more promising. He is 19 years old. Again, looking at advanced forward, he has got excellent finishing, good decisions, which I've mentioned before. I love that in a young player. Good determination, fine work rate. Off the ball is good. Physicals are just a couple of points away from being good. And yeah, so is everything else that you would need. So I'm sure he will be able to do a job at some point. Just a little bit of progression and he will be fine. So yeah, that is literally all the transfers I have made. And this is the squad. And those injuries I was telling you about before the summer. Hang on. Right, so Billy Clark is back. Billy Clark has had a pre-season with us. He's not really match fit because he's not played much in pre-season, but he has trained and been on the bench, so he's fine. He's over his injury. Colin Kelly is still out with that damaged Achilles tendon. He is expected to be back in 2 to 4 weeks, so that's good news. I'm hoping he will be able to bounce back from this pretty quickly and that it won't turn into a serial problem. He won't become prone to injuries or anything like that, but time will tell. I've still got pretty high hopes for Colin Kelly. Donatello picked up a dislocated shoulder just like right at the start of pre-season. Right at the start. Obviously Donatello has been on loan to Motherwell for a year. He's scored 13 goals in 36 games. Picked up a pretty shitty average rating, but 13 goals in 36, that would, if he could do that for us, that would be far more than anyone scored for us last season. So yeah, I'll gladly get him in the side and let him score 13 goals, but not for another 6 to 7 weeks. And Kieran Freeman is still out with this serious viral infection, and he is still going to be out for 3 weeks to 2 months. And again, bit gutting. I hope he can bounce back from it. He doesn't seem to have... Yeah, he's declined a bit, but he will do. He doesn't seem to have an injury proneness that has come up. So that's good. As for the finances, we are still very much in debt. We got a little bit of money for TV revenue and stuff, but we're still 2.7 million in the red. We're still spending way above our wage budget. I did actually try to sell Danny Wilson, because Danny Wilson, someone came in, I think it was Forest actually, who were playing today. They came in with a bid of £3 million, like non-negotiable. I said no, because he's our vice captain. He's a very good championship player, so I reckon we can get probably 5-6 million for him. So I declined that offer, and then I offered him around without putting him on the transfer list or anything, and he's unhappy. He feels like he's been forced out of the club, which is just not true, but he also won't talk to me. So we've not been able to resolve that, so I'll just have to hope that he's over it. 2 players who wanted to leave at the end of last season were James Husband, who played less and less into the second half of last season because Luke Higham was coming into form and he took his place. He wanted to leave. We've turned down bids for him and he's now happy to stay. And the same with Sammy Amiobi. Sammy Amiobi didn't really play much at all last season because we were playing that 4-2-3-1 narrow formation and he wasn't getting any game time. He wanted to leave, which was fair enough. I was going to let him, but then I've made changes to the tactics, so I want to keep him around. So he's happy to stay now as well. So all is good on that front. So I think this will be the squad for the start of the season. I don't think anything's going to change before the 1st of September. We've had a very good pre-season as well. We lost 4-3 to West Ham. We went 3-0 up with a Luke Freeman hat-trick in the first half. Danny Wilson scored no goal, and then West Ham scored 3 times to make it 4-3. Other than that, we've had a good pre-season. We went on a tour of Portugal, beat a couple of sides there, beat a couple of sides back at home, beat River, which, yeah, not bad at all. And, importantly, Kyle Dempsey has been in great form. Great form this pre-season. 7.6 average rating. Sorry, 7.68 average rating. 4 goals and 2 assists in his last 5 matches. So, I am very happy about this. Let's show you the tactics that have inspired this new surge of form. It is the most basic, the most standard 4-1-2-3 I could find. Because I was thinking about this. And I was thinking, I'm worried that last season is going to turn into a pattern for us. We will not get enough money to buy decent players. We will not get money from selling players on because we're not performing well, so their values are low. So I'm keen not to turn that into a pattern where we just stay as we are forever. So something's got to change, and it can't be the personnel, as I've said, because we've got no money to bring in new personnel. So we change the tactics and we go more solid. We've got 3 very battling central midfielders here. We've got Josh Vela as the anchorman. We've got Michael Caine as the ball winner, who can also get forward. And Cal Dempsey not as a shadow striker, but as a box-to-box midfielder. And that is the role that has inspired this great form in pre-season. And I'm hoping he can carry that in to the start of the season now. Other than that, it's as you'd expect, just a standard back line. We've got Hodgson, Aldred, Wilson and Husband. Lee Camp is in goal. He was pretty much neck and neck with Freddie Woodman during pre-season. They played about the same amount, but Lee Camp had one outstanding game, and that's why he's playing today. The wingers on support are Kennedy and Freeman. Obviously, Freeman scored that hat-trick, which has put him higher in the pecking order at the minute than Sammy Amiobi. And Danny Philliskirk starts up front, but I'm not sure how long that will last, because he's the main one I'm worried about in this formation. He's not had a great pre-season, Danny Philliskirk. 6.56 average rating, no goals or assists. Not very pleased. So you might be asking, which youth players have we actually got in the frame for the first team? At the minute, we've got this young lad, Stuart Wardle, who we signed from AFC Telford a couple of years ago. He's a deep line forward, so he's very much ready to come in and fill Danny Philliskirk's boots. And he just looks very dependable, very rounded stats, very determined, good decisions, good teamwork, good work rate. Yeah, he looks like a dependable player, so he will be on the bench for us today. As I say, Colin Kelly will be in the frame, as will Donatello, but they are both injured at the minute. We've got Alan Williams, who is another striker. He's more of a poacher, and yeah, just again pretty well-rounded stats. I think I showed you him last season actually, and then sent him out on loan, but he's back. And I'm planning on keeping him around this season. Matt Nolan is one of our own. He's 19 years old. He's a right winger, or pretty much a right anything, or a striker, but primarily a right winger, and again pretty dependable, determined, good team player, good work rate, pretty good physically, pretty good everywhere, so he will get a look in at some point. And we have got some good young prospects in the under-23s as well, but yeah, they're going to stay in the under-23s for the minute, and if we need them, they will be called up. The problem with last season, when I wanted to bring young players in, they were all out on loan. So, although the ones that are here aren't in the first team, they are ready to step up should they need to. So, a couple of names in that Nottingham Forest squad that stand out. Andre Dozzell is one of them, or Dezell, I don't know how you say it. I'm going to say Dozzell. He's a very promising young player. They've signed him this summer from Southampton, who signed him from Ipswich at the start of the save. Very promising advanced playmaker. They've got Jack Hobbs still at the centre of defence, who is just solid as a rock. Jack Colback playing as a defensive midfielder for them, and just probably coming into his prime. So he'll be tough, and they're playing with quite a defensive formation as well, so it's going to be probably quite difficult to break them down. Josh Vela might be unnecessary there as an anchorman for this game, but I will change that if I need to over the course of the game. Tell everyone I have faith in them. Oh, and everyone is happy apart from Luke Freeman. Oh, come on. Okay, 20 minutes in, it's a chance for Forest. Colback gets it in, it's headed away. Asaidi to Doran with a good strike from the edge of the area, and Forest have taken the lead. And it has been nothing but Forest at the minute, to be honest. The free kick was headed away. Asaidi laid it off for Doran. It was a good strike. Goalie was a bit far off his line, but yeah, good strike, good goal. And something already needs to change for Blackpool. They're still playing this 4-4-1-1. I'm going to go 4-2-3-1. And we are going to have Dempsey as a shadow striker, Caine as the box-to-boxer, and Vela as a ball-winning midfielder. We're going to stay on standard for now. Right, 5 minutes to go till half-time. Yokovati to Kane. Kennedy surging forward, loses it, and it's played over the top. I'm lagging for some reason. Fopala's through, and he slid it home. Oh, the ball was played over the top. Fopala, in this, the second highlight of the match, scores this, the second Nottingham Forest goal. For fuck's sake. Right, we've had 5 shots and none of them have been on target. I'm going to be aggressive. We're going to go counter, but we're going to say work the ball into the box. Go. Right, foot counter, we're going attacking. And in fact, Kennedy and Danny Philliskirk are both having a bit of a shocker out there. So Owen the Impact Jones is coming on for Matty Kennedy, and Stuart Wardle is going to make his debut for Blackpool by coming on replacing Danny Philliskirk. And that's it, that's full time. There were 2 highlights in the fucking match, and we lost 2-0. Oh, aggressive, I'm not pleased. I refuse to let this be another one of those seasons like we had last season. I refuse to let that happen. We are not having another one of them. Forest had fucking 2 shots on target there and they won 2-0. It's not going to be like that for a whole other season. No. I think the best case scenario, good job for Stuart Wardle by the way, he didn't really do anything, but oh, he got fouled twice, good lad. I think the best case scenario between now and the end of August is someone comes in for, you know, a player like Danny Wilson, someone who's a good player and worth a lot, but is also replaceable. So we can get some big money for them, have a replacement. I mean, Danny Wilson would be ideal because we could sell him, get 5 million or so, bring in Ash Kigbu, who didn't even make the bench for that game because these two have had a bloody good pre-season together. And then maybe we can strengthen, but I just don't know. I am fearful. I am fearful for Blackpool's chances this season, and I'm fearful for my Blackpool job. I mean, maybe it'll be different when Freeman, Donatello and Kelly come back. Who knows? But anyway, that is where I'm going to leave this episode, guys. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this series, and make sure you go and check out all the other stuff we are doing on the channel at the moment. But apart from that, I will see you next time. Bye!